So Jeremy, I have been so excited to ask you what you love about baked beans.
Well, what I love about baked beans is that it's savory, it's sweet. Being plant-based, there's a lot of dishes out there that feel really great. They're very sweet, fruity in the mornings, but if you want something a little bit more hearty, a little bit more savory, baked beans are the dish for you.
I love that. And coming from like the nutrition and the fitness standpoint, we're obviously looking at really high in fiber, high in protein. We've got some amazing carbohydrates in there if you're getting out and going for a run or whatever it is that you might be doing, chasing your kids. We don't know.
We don't know.
Now, you also mentioned that this is actually a recipe that is sugar-free.
Yeah, so how we did that with our baked beans is we're using dates, whole dates that we've soaked, and that's gonna create a lot more nice sweetness in its fiber, in its entirety, and we're not gonna have that kind of white sugar or any kind of other sweeteners that you see in the canned products. So much better for us. Yeah.
Awesome, okay, let's get started.
Okay, so what we wanna do is we're gonna start with chopping up some onion and garlic. Now we're gonna use about one full-sized regular white onion. Right, that's all chopped up. The next part of this recipe is going to call for some dates. And how we're using these dates differently from our soaked dates is that these dates are going to be almost acting as our little bacon bits. So in our baked beans, we're going to have little chunks of these dates. And then as we're eating them, we're going to have little nice little clusters of sweetness. And that's the whole idea.
Delicious. And this is the part that makes it sugar-free.
It does.
From like a white refined sugar.
Exactly, yeah. And it's also going to be our, it's our meat-free part as well.
Yes, good point.
So for these, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. We just want them into little chunks, almost like you would think of doing like a bacon bit or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to go too small here because we really do want them to be in the baked bean. And what we're going to do is we're going to saute this. And because we're doing this oil-free, we're just gonna use a bit of water on hand, and that's how we're gonna be sauteing our pans.
So we're sugar and oil-free in this recipe.
Yeah, this one's full on health. The water's pretty much evaporated now, so we're just gonna add a little bit more water in and keep it going, and that's gonna replace all the oil needs that we have for the onion. Add in that garlic, cook that down for another minute, and then we're ready to add the rest of the ingredients in. So the garlic's ready, we're gonna add in our chopped dates. Break that in. Give it a nice stir. So the next step is to make our baked bean sauce. So this is a sauce that we're gonna make a little bit sweet, have some tomatoes, be nice and savory. So to start that, what we're gonna use is our dates that we've soaked with some water.
And now to ask you as well, so we've already got the lemon juice in there from squeezing that through.
Yeah.
And the dates, you've got them pre-soaked from what I understand.
Yes.
And what is your best recommendation for pre-soaked dates to get them there?
One great tip is to use hot water with any kind of like dates or a cashew. That'll really soften the fiber up.
Okay.
So if you want to speed your recipe along, or you can just do it overnight if you have planned ahead.
Super helpful, thank you.
Yeah. So then after that, we're going to do a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And then I have here some sun-dried tomatoes that we've dehydrated and soaked back up into some water. So we're going to use that. Now we are going oil-free, so the whole point was to use a non-oiled sun-dried tomato.
That helps massively with the fat content that you're gonna find in the total part of this recipe, because I always go into the grocery store and I see them soaked so much in oil that it actually takes away from the element of what the tomato is.
It does, and you don't know the quality of the oil either. So
no, you really don't. Yeah. So, okay, so that is sun-dried tomatoes that are just soaked in water.
Yep.
Ooh,
yep,
delicious.
And then we're just gonna season it. We have a little bit of smoked paprika. We're gonna do some salt. There. And then some mustard. I've chosen Dijon. You could use your regular kind as well, but I like the Dijon the best. Some cumin. And then a little bit of tamari. And this one is a wheat-free tamari. And there are different types on the market, so just because it's tamari doesn't necessarily mean that it's a gluten-free one. I'm gonna put that lid on, and we're just gonna blend it on high until it's nice and smooth.
So I'm kind of getting the feel that you're looking for some sort of good consistency that's in here.
Yeah, but we are blending it until it's nice and smooth and creamy.
Okay, let's get those on those baked beans.
All right. Pour those beans in. Quick stir, and then add in our sauce. turn the heat off, and just give that a nice mix. And now we're gonna put it in the oven for 1 hour at 300 degrees. So we pulled the baked beans out of the oven. They're nice and hot. I've added a little bit of tomatoes, a lime, and some green onions. And now we're ready to try it.
And I don't know if you can tell how excited I am. I'm literally like holding up my spoon. Like, this looks delicious. It really gives that feel of, you know, that comfort food element. And something other too that I want to suggest than just a regular type of like chili. Like, this is a very, very cool dish.
Yeah, and baked beans, you know, you can eat just as it is. You can have that with toast. You can do it so many different ways. It's just breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Fantastic. Let's try this. Okay?
Yep.
Grab your spoon. Cheers.
Cheers. So it's everything I like in a baked bean. It has that sweetness, it has a depth and savoriness, right? It's a good baked bean.
That chipotle feel that's to it too is really delicious. Or that smoky, pardon me, that smoky feel that it has is so delicious.
Yeah, that smoked paprika comes through and it's, it's nice.
Wow, love that like button. I'm telling you, you are definitely gonna wanna make this. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, you will find the link to the recipe in the description below. We're gonna eat the rest of this, okay?
Yes, yeah.
Let's do it.
Deal.
Plants out.
Plants out.